Hey everybody, welcome to What About the Game. Today I'm going to be talking about Phantom Trigger on the Nintendo Switch. Before we get into the review guys, please be sure to subscribe. That will really help the channel out, it'll help the channel grow, and also you can receive regular awesome reviews for Nintendo eShop games. It's safe to say that the Switch is on a complete roll at the minute. Indie games are coming out at a rate of knots, and one of the latest is Phantom Trigger, TinyBuild's second published game after Mr. Shifty. The two games are not dissimilar either. Phantom Trigger is a hack and slash beat 'em up that oozes style, with its dark and brooding mysterious atmosphere and its all-out action. The story isn't the most simple to explain, indeed it's incredibly ambiguous as it unfolds via flashbacks between a man and his wife, where the husband is suffering a medical condition that is linked to the world in which the game plays out. You control the outsider as they travel around the weird, unfriendly world, destroying demons and uncovering the story step by step. I enjoyed the way the story unfolded bit by bit, although it did feel a little pretentious at times. I guess it's a fine line when it comes to this kind of story development, so I appreciate them trying. The controls are incredibly simple. You walk around the 5 worlds hacking and slashing a huge number of deformed monsters that stand in your way. From the beginning of the game you quickly pick up 3 main forms of defense. The first is the blade, which is quick but weak, the whip, which brings enemies closer to you and can interact with environmental things. Finally there's the fists, which are stronger but slower. Something I find a very interesting mechanic is leveling up your attacks individually. Killing enemies with an attack will gain experience for that attack. Leveling them up time and time again will unlock combos. Each combo is only 3 inputs long, so they're all very easy to do and pull off consistently. The final thing you can do is teleport a few meters in front of you, in the style of Mr. Shifty. This is used to quickly escape enemies and jump across gaps and hazards. There isn't a huge variety of enemies. You'll keep fighting the same ones over and over again. Each world will introduce a few new types of enemies, but half of them are just slight adaptations of current enemies. I will say that while there isn't a huge amount of them, the ones that are here really do have to be dealt with in different ways. Having to adjust your tactics on the fly for individual enemies kind of eliminates this problem somewhat. One of the things that stood out almost immediately is that at no point does the game hold your hand. There are literally no tutorials as far as I'm aware. You need to work out all of the mechanics yourself. This is mostly a positive, as it's nice working out everything with your own brain, but at times there are also places, especially boss battles, where it's what on earth am I supposed to do? In fact, the clue for the third boss is downright misleading. I spent half an hour following what I thought was a hint, whereas it turns out I was supposed to do the exact opposite. The main problem I had with the lack of explaining was when it came to the endings. Phantom Trigger boasts 4 different endings, and after I received the rather unsatisfactory crap ending, I have literally no idea what I did to earn it. Since I thought I did plenty of good things, optional things, worst of all I don't know what it is I can do to see the other endings, something I would have liked. I've mentioned the visual style, which is very unique. It's sort of faded neon, if that makes any sense. Colours play an important part in the gameplay too. The distinct attacks have their own colour, blue, green and red respectively, which are required to interact with things in the corresponding colour. This includes solving basic puzzles, as well as at times when enemies switch between different colours, only taking damage from that coloured attack. I was also a big fan of the sound design. While the short amount of tracks are awesomely atmospheric electronic music, it was the sound effects that really got me. Attacking with your weapon feels heavy, thanks to the sound each of them make. A combo of 3 makes the whole thing kind of musical in a way, like the game has some sort of rhythm to it. Phantom Trigger can pack quite a challenge. When all of the variety of enemies gang up against you in small enclosed spaces, it's difficult to take them all out while avoiding their unique attacks. The long distance shooters and bouncy things especially became quite a nuisance, leading to my death the most by far. Oddly, the game is defaulted to hard mode, which is not something I would recommend for first timers. While there are only 5 levels, they are quite huge, providing you with a game of decent length. While I didn't ever get lost in the levels, I wish there was a map available. I was often second guessing myself and wary about which path to take, so a map would have been useful. I did enjoy the boss battles too, which are often a war of attrition, well, except the aforementioned third boss, which was confusing and a bit lame. As far as little extra things go, at any time in the menu, you can turn on co-op mode, which is exactly as it sounds. Because the controls are quite simple. You can easily play this with just a single Joy-Con, making multiplayer effortless. The only issue with this is that you share the same health bar, oddly. Also, after completing the game, you can access arena mode, which to be honest I didn't put a lot of time into. Overall, I think Phantom Trigger is a pretty excellent game from my perspective. I enjoyed the hack and slash elements, even if it did become slightly repetitive later on. The visual style is excellent, and I appreciate the attempt at storytelling from two different but connected worlds. It may be difficult for some, and I wish it showed what I did to deserve the ending, but it's still a pretty fine game that I can recommend. Okay guys, if you've enjoyed this review, then be sure to like and subscribe, that will help me out. You can read the full review of Phantom Trigger at whataboutthegame.com, and you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter if you want to. All the links are below. Thanks guys, bye bye.